What's going on about this Afro think tank? Black woman says she no longer has the patience or empathy for black people that's not paying attention to what's going on. And I agree. Because right now we have a bunch of irresponsible members of America. I'm gonna say America because not all of them are part of the black community. A lot of them are white, right? Which I understand white trolls gonna do what white trolls do. But we got a lot of insecure black people out here. Right, we got a lot of black people who's pouring their energy in the wrong direction. Because right now, black people are being killed in America. We're being lynched. Insecure white people in the middle of America, where law enforcement is not as prevalent as it should be, they are currently attacking every black person they can get away with attacking. Now, we've known that this has always been going on since the antebellum South. Since we were released from the entire time we have been free in this country, white society has made it their pastime to harass, kill, murder, and rape Africans in the middle of America where they're not being held accountable. There is a lot of space in America. America is not a place that is dense. America is not a place that is dense with cameras everywhere where any movement that you do, it can be, checked. That's only in the cities. Most of America is rural. Most of white America lives in the woods. They live in rural areas. They're poor white Europeans brought to the Americas to go out there and hack that and collect lumber and coal and all that. All these little villages, these little sundown towns are places poor white people were sent by rich white people to develop industry. And all those industries that created all these little towns and villages in the middle of America, they are drying up because new industries are taking over. So you have a bunch of disgruntled poor white people, right, who no longer have the privilege to use white privilege. They're now suffering from the consequences of their actions, right, by their actions in supporting rich white racists because they thought that the rich white racists was going to take care of them, the poor white racists, right? So when they see black people coming up in America, they try to measure themselves up with their failures versus our success. So they have a cultural hate and disdain and jealousy for us. And we know white people, the solutions to all their problems is to kill it and rape it. That's the answer. That's what Neanderthals do. Kill it, rape it. Kill it, steal it, rape it. That's what barbarians do. Kill it, steal it, rape it. That's what they do. That's the answer. That's how complex they get. So when you have black families that move out to areas that's not historically black, that don't have large black populations to protect them, to insulate them, to keep them safe, and we got all these black people that get jobs or they get opportunities and they move their families irresponsibly out to these white communities thinking that, oh, it's a new day. Racism doesn't exist. Oh, this will never happen to me. Oh, the white people I'm with are cool. Like when you get real comfortable, that's when that white person would see your son, your daughter, real comfortable by themselves. And that's when white people who are who are suffering from centuries of deep-seated jealousy and hatred and guilt, right? And their insecurities because they know everything that they have is not built off the back of any superior white male. Right? They got all this mental dysfunction, and then when they see a little black girl or boy walking up and down the street, right, they take, and it's like 2 or 3 of them, especially if it's a black man. If it's a black man, they need like 3 or 4 white men before they feel brave enough to try to tackle that, right? And then they'll go into some of these woods, the millions upon millions of square acres of land that we have in America, and they go and they find the nearest tree that'll hold one of us up, and they rope us up, and they get that satisfaction that their grandparents used to get when they used to have whole events on Sundays where they would go to church, worship their white Jesus, call themselves people of God, and then go lynch a black person for spectacle and then make stamps and stickers and postcards and shit. That's who we dealing with. That's the kind of white people we are dealing with. And so when you got people who are FBA, who are sitting around still having this, and they're supposed to be adults, still having the same conversations about delineating, when in fact you should be uniting, because if you delineate, you make yourself a smaller, ineffective group that no one is going to listen to. So as FBA try to delineate and move towards those that mean to do us the worst and try to drag the rest of African Americans with it, and then try to drag the rest of the black community down with it because they're so insecure about themselves that they capitulate to their oppressors, Because they figure if they capitulate to their oppressors and they play nice and they good nigga to their oppressors, that maybe their oppressors would pat them in the head instead of beating them. So FBA sitting here talking about little names. FBA sitting here talking about online, which is a new thing, by the way, that they're, the internet's still new, by the way, and social media is even newer, right? Complaining about historical battles online that we've been supposedly having, even though we all just started talking to each other, right? So supposedly these FBA are talking about the massive amount of abuse they've received from continental Africans, the overwhelming massive amount of abuse that has affected them so much to the point to where they're so blind with hate and festivity that they refuse to unite with the people that look like them. But that white person who is every now and then snatching a one black person in the back of the line and nobody looking and lynching them whenever they feel like it, every now and then going into the grocery store of black community and plucking them out of a Negro, right? They want the dark meat, they want the brown meat, they want dark chocolate, they want milk chocolate. Whatever one, they pluck one out and they go and string one up like they going fishing and shit. You ain't got no problem with that. You see, FBA priorities are effed up. You sitting here trying to get reparations from a group of people that's currently lynching you in the streets. That's why, as an African American, I can't take FBA seriously. Because you guys, if you guys are really about delineating and empowering yourselves, instead of just being online talking shit all day, being in a constant state of dysfunction, you guys will be having panels talking about what does FBA need to do to secure our communities? What does FBA need to do in order to stop the lynchings in our communities? What does FBA need to do to get politicians that's going to hold the police departments and the sheriff department accountable for investigating these lynchings in our communities? What is FBA going to do to empower themselves economically to improve their communities? What is FBA going to do, right, as far as politics, to promote the policies that will benefit African Americans? You don't hear FBA talking about that. You don't hear FBA talking about what are we going to do to stop these right-wing governors from eliminating African American AP programs out of our schools? What are we going to do about them burning and disenfranchising African American artists and artistry in America? What are we going to do about white supremacists naming military bases after clear Confederate pro-slave holding politicians and generals? What are we going to do about the resurgence of white supremacy that clearly wants to keep us disenfranchised and discriminate against us, and if given the opportunity would re-enslave us? What are we going to do as FBA to do all that? You don't hear any of those conversations. The only thing you hear about FBA is some African call me a name. Some African, so us. How is it that you Africans can both say you're not from Africa, right? Yeah, hold up. I had to stop walking. How is it that your FBA can say that you're not African? You have some ethnogenesis. I guess your ethnogenesis went lightning speed, went the speed of light, because we ain't been here that long for that to happen. But let's say, right, that you're some special indigenous Negro that been here for thousands of years, even though you've never been able to prove it. If that's the case, why do you deserve reparations? Why are you fighting, or why are you acting like you want reparations? Those are for Africans. Reparations are for Africans brought over during the transatlantic slave trade specifically, not for any indigenous group of people. That's a different thing. Why y'all not fighting for that? Huh? And if you don't look African, why do you say I look African? I'm light skinned. I look like a Cambodian, Asian, a Blasian, all kind of shit, right? I look everything but a traditional African you see at the Bank of America doing security. Huh? How come y'all look at me and see an African, but can't look at yourself and see an African? Huh? I'm just wondering where the hell is FBA's priorities? Outside of talking about the latest celebrity gossip and the latest what some podcaster said and fake festivity about this over here, or fake festivity about that over here. What about the real actual issues that's affecting the African American community? Since you want to delineate and you don't need no help, you don't need no help from the white people, you don't need no help from POCs, you don't need no help from black people, you premium black FBAs can do it all by yourself. Well, what is your plans to do it by yourself? Are you going to prove that you FBA are so powerful because, you guys take credit for everything African Americans ever did because you like to, wrap African Americans up in your xenophobic hate group's title of FBA? Well, what are you doing right now to continue on the legacy of black excellency in America? with your new name? What accomplishments have you accomplished under the banner of FBA? So we can say, bam, look, FBA, they did something. Because quite frankly, while we are at war right now, because guess what? These white people don't give a shit about whether you FBA, whether you Haitian, whether you Nigerian. They don't care. You black. That's what it is. And how do you call yourself black and say you're not African? Because black and African mean the same thing. Those are interchangeable. FBA and black is not interchangeable. FBA and African American is not interchangeable because African American is an ethnic group. Black is an ethnic group. Black is also the race. FBA is fulfillment by Amazon. So how are you going to be black and not African? Because if you're not African, then you ain't black. That's a fact. That's a fact. So all I'm saying is we got too much. That's why we can't listen. I know a lot of people say, why do you continue to talk to them as if they're not some that can be pulled over? There are some that can be pulled over because there's some FBA on the margins and they only like the name. They have no idea that Tariq Nasheed, or the center of FBA, the crux of FBA, the main FBA group are xenophobic, hateful individuals. And sometimes I like to pluck some of them from the edges to bring them back to reality, bring them back to common sense. But the rest of y'all, I got no love for y'all. I would do to you what Harriet Tubman would done to you. I would do to you what Harriet Tubman would have done to you. I would leave you on the slave plantation. You're not following me and then telling me what to do. You're not going to rename me and take me away from my Africanness so you can get closer to whiteness. The whiteness that don't want you, which is the funny thing. So you like in limbo because nobody wants you no matter where you go because of your wishy-washiness. All y'all a bunch of sneakos. FBA is a bunch of sneakos. Sneako represents FBA at its full totality. Confused, mixed individual who just don't know what to call himself. His identity is skewed because he has too many of them, as far as he is concerned. No loyalty to nothing but the next fad. Because I tell you, once Tariq Nasheed turn the page and start some new shit, you guys are either going to follow him or you're going to look for the next grifter. While people like myself, real African Americans, people who actually care about the African American community and care about the black community in America in its totality, right? Who care about our little boys and our little girls being taken advantage of, disappearing. Because we talk about real stuff while you guys talk about hairlines and cracking jokes all day with your 50-something plus year old grifter hero, Tariq Nasheed, and pretending like y'all actually care about issues in America when you in fact do not. Anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comments section. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
I no longer hold any space, grace, or companion for black people in real life that quite literally choose to be ignorant about what the fuck is happening around us. As of today, and I hate that I know this number is skewed as fuck, but as of today, from March 2025 until today, there has been 22 known lynchings. From March 2025 and August of 2026 that we have actually reported that actually can be found. And I'm knowing the number is heightened a bit more, especially in reference since I want to say maybe a year or two ago, we just found out that 250 unknown bodies was behind a Mississippi jail. 250. So I'm knowing the numbers in reference to lynching in 2026 is astronomical, but we cannot determine the actual number because police officers are for some reason marking all of these fucking deaths as suicide. So y'all think in reality, I'm finna sit up here and debate, educate, or sit here and be patient with motherfuckers who look just like me that still want to walk around this bitch and tell me how racism is not that big of a deal in 2026. You think I'm finna sit up here and argue or debate or educate another black motherfucker about why it is harmful to sit there and use your dollars to purchase anything Tesla? Anything that Elon has created, you think I'm finna sit here and debate with you as to why that shit is harmful amongst us? You think I'm finna sit up here and argue, debate, and or educate with your ignorant ass as to why and how data centers are impacting us and how it actually started impacting us first before it started spreading? You think I'm finna argue? You think I'm finna educate? As if we all do not have the same motherfucking phones? As if we all do not have the agency to look shit up? You think I'm finna argue? I'm not finna fucking do it. It's time out, y'all. Time out, time out, time out. It's time out with choosing to be blatantly and purposely fucking ignorant. It is irritating. It is irritating of the fact of that now that I have been trying to make friends, that I have been trying to get acquainted with people in real fucking life, it is so fucking hard to come across people that are smart. It is so fucking hard to come across people that are not apathetic, not empathetic, You see what it is so hard because why does the conversation about politics make y'all so uncomfortable? Why? Every day you come to me, okay? Every day you go to somebody in your circle and you quite literally just trauma dump on them in reference to the shit that you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Why? It's because of politics. But yet, everybody want to always turn a blind eye or act like you're making their day horrible because you want to bring up how Trump is ruining every fucking thing. How Trump and his motherfucking compadres, they are ruining everything. You try to teach black folks that thinking the way that they think is anti-black. You try to teach black folks to get themselves out of the strings of white supremacy, and I swear to God, you would have thought you shot their mama. You would have thought you shot their mama, how they get pissed off, how they get so fucking loud and ignorant. All because you're telling them not to spew anti-blackness, not to fall into respectability politics, not to be ignorant. Just pick up a book. Mind you, we're not even telling y'all to pick up no thick ass books. A lot of things are articles nowadays. Shit has become so short brained for y'all that they are now creating articles in a reference to like TikTok. And what I mean by that, they are shortening articles because they know a lot of people are not fucking reading. And yet y'all still won't fucking read. But you know what you will do? You will argue up and fucking down about ignorant shit. And it takes more fucking energy to be ignorant than it does to be educated. I don't know how or why this is not clicking for people. I don't know why this isn't clicking for y'all. It's easier to be educated and knowledgeable. It's easier to be wrong than it is to sit down and justify your fucking ignorance. But I am so tired of getting online now. And every single day, if there's not blatant racism, there is a new person, a new black person ending up dead. In trees, bro. In trees, bro. And y'all are literally choosing to troll accounts out, talking about how people commit suicide every day. But then if I just start saying, let's just start shooting motherfuckers in the head when they think like this, then I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Because I legitimately feel like we are being overpowered and overpopulated with people that are quite literally, I don't even want to call them sociopaths because I feel like calling them that is not something, it's evilness running around this bitch. And no, I'm not talking about demon shit. This evil is something that I feel as if the demons that y'all have curated out of imagination could even fathom saying half the shit that y'all say, doing half the shit that y'all are doing. This is past a biblical known evilness here. Y'all are curating your own form of evil. And then y'all are unfortunately, y'all are affecting everybody because everybody is okay with being evil. I don't understand this life that I have to live in. Why am I being punished? Because y'all are ignorant. Why am I being punished? Because that's literally what it feels like now. Every single day, I feel like I'm being punished for being intelligent. And I don't fucking like that shit. It's irritating. It's annoying. It's frustrating. Because all I want to do is have people around me, surrounded by people as smart as me. And it's so fucking hard. Because everybody will willing to sit down and just look in their fucking phones while their life is burning to fucking hell. Everybody legitimately feel like everything is not their issue until it impacts them. And I can't tell y'all how many people I have blocked. Not on social media, but in real life. Because I cannot make no friends because everybody is just too fucking ignorant. Oh my God.
If I'm not mistaken, you're an American.
Let me correct something first of all. I'm an African who was born in America. That does not make me an American. I'm an African. Look at me. I'm an African. Okay. When people ask me if I'm an American, I tell them the same thing. I am an African who was born in America.
Free Sudan, boycott diamonds and gold. Free Sudan, boycott diamonds and gold. We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.